friends, I want to record this statement in English language as well, because some of our friends who have watched my previous messages and statements in Georgian advised me to broaden the outreach, because the number of immigrants from Georgia abroad has grown dramatically over the course of last 3 decades. And we have a whole new generation of young Georgians, not just ethnically Georgians, but people who have lived in Georgia irrespective of their national identity, who were born abroad or raised abroad and love Georgia, want to visit it, and do not speak fluent Georgian or do not understand it completely. And my friends have advised me to reach out to these youths of ours and deliver the message in a more comfortable linguistic sort of fashion to them. Today I'm speaking about the ongoing tragedy of Russo-Ukrainian war. And I've said in Georgian and in Russian that unfortunately this tragic conflict that is going on between very closely related two nations, which in my personal opinion represent in their roots one nation, Eastern Slavic civilization, is a huge tragedy within itself. And I've expressed my humble opinion that the Georgian position in this situation should be the one of a peacemaker. We should host and receive with hospitality customary to Caucasus and to Georgia everyone who seeks asylum, irrespective of their nationality, passport, religious beliefs, as a result of this conflict. So whoever arrives in Tbilisi and in Georgia should be welcomed by us and supported in every way we can. And in general, I do believe that irrespective of our political views, which side of the propaganda machine we belong to, us taking sides in this brotherly war, in this unfortunate, horrific tragedy which is taking place, and taking one side and killing the other side is not only detrimental to both sides which are at war, but to ourselves as well, because these close relatives hopefully will cease fire as soon as possible and find ways to reconcile and find ways to make peace again. And the memory of us standing on either side and killing the other side will not serve us a good service. In addition to that, I wanted to speak briefly about the possible outcomes of two opposite results of the ongoing war. On one hand, that is, if Russia prevails and achieves its declared goals of what they call demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine, and what happens if Ukraine prevails and, let's say, which I believe to be a less probable scenario, given the dynamics of the military action and the relative weights of the military might. But nonetheless, let's take a look at what happens in case Ukraine prevails and takes over and sort of ousts the Russian military forces from its territory and maintains Zelensky's, President Zelensky's team maintains its power grip on the country. In both of these scenarios, I'm afraid the life as we knew it for us is over, because if Russia prevails, that means an emergence of a much stronger Russia in the state of permanent opposition to the collective West, a growth of its regional influence in our region even further, which of course will not be left unanswered by the West, and hence expect more tensions, more hotspots and more provocations, possibly leading to military escalation in our region. And of course, if on the other hand Ukraine prevails and ousts Russian military forces, that means a huge blow to the Russian Federation in general, to the ruling political leadership of Russia, all the way to a possible beginning of a disintegration of Russian Federation, which means more chaos starting perhaps in North Caucasus, in our region, and affecting us directly. So in either case, however this conflict ends, we are about to witness a radical shift, paradigm shift in our lives as we knew it, which is not new to us because people of my generation in our region have lived two lives, really. One, the Soviet period life, which was a bipolar system during which we lived under one of the poles. And then after the breakup of Soviet Union over the course of last 3 decades, we've lived in a unipolar world as the peripheral provinces belonging to the monopoly. And now, in accordance with the opinion of many analysts and geopoliticians, we are witnessing an emergence of a third stage, which is referred to as a multipolar world, i.e. a reduction of global dominance of one of the poles, the one of the United States and its Western European allies, and a resurrection and a rise of alternative power poles, one of them definitely being Russia, China, etc., with an increased risk of interpolar conflicts in the interim zones, which happens to be our case. And therefore, not only, I believe, is the life as we knew it is over with the beginning of the Russo-Ukrainian conflict, but also the time for abstract, unrealistic, sort of hypnotized versions of liberal policies for our region is over, and the time has come for realistic nation-state policies, both on the foreign policy and domestic policy, requiring a total change and a total restructuring of the way we think of Georgia and the realities of its surrounding region. And of course, in that process of renewing Georgia for the new century, because as many dangers this new time holds for us, we can say that we are faced with as many opportunities if we use them properly. And of course, in that shift, our youth, which is studying abroad, loves Georgia, wants to do something for it, should play a more and more significant role. And therefore, I wanted to underline and stress this very point, that you are witnessing together with us a major tectonic shift in the realities surrounding our beloved country. And God help us all, not just Georgians, but all the people living in our region, because very dangerous times are about to come. See you next time, and I will try to cover in my subsequent messages some of the topics that may be interesting for our immigrants living abroad. Thank you very much.